All right, good morning, everybody. This is Mike AI5QK. I'm going to make a quick video since I haven't made one in a little while about the updates for QK4. So I post the release notes and changes on my GitHub, but I think some people want to just see a video of it, make it a little easier so you don't have to go through all the release notes. In addition, I'll go ahead and show you the GitHub. Again, for those that don't know where it is, I will show you that. So here's my main GitHub. So as you can see, I have a bunch of repositories on here. The one you guys are looking for is the QK4 repository. So I'm going to show you two paths to download the QK4 software. So you can hit my main repository, and then you're going to go to the QK4 folder. Here we have sort of the release notes, the current version that we're on. Right now I'm on 050 beta 13, and it's April 26th. 2026. So supported OS is here. Mainly this is just the builds that I provide prepackaged. But if you guys can compile it from source, you can run it on anything. But again, I don't support that, right? So I'm only going to be supporting and helping people if they're having issues on the supported platforms that I provide the builds for. So C++ and Qt 610. There are some people that had some issues recently with Linux build, and you really need to check the dependencies to make sure that you have the right version of Qt. There are widgets that I use to create the spectrum, the waterfall pan adapter, and those widgets, from what I've seen, when it doesn't work and compile, it's usually an old version of Qt. So make sure you're running at least 6.7 is the widget that people seem to have a lot of issues with. So just make sure you're running at least 6.7. My testing and my builds, they're on 6.10. So give you some basics on what you need to install. And as you can see here, I mentioned the dependency. So this is for people that want to build from source. Okay. For people that don't want to build from source, you can access my GitHub pages. You can get to that from here. I'll take you over to the GitHub pages. Or you can just go to the URL at the top of my address bar. I'll paste that in the description of the video. So this is the current development. This is what it looks like. So you can see some things I've added. I tell you the current version and then the release notes. So this site, it's basically just making it easy for people to download the pre-built versions and make it easy for you to find my release notes. So when you click the release notes on this main page, it'll take you over to the long list of changes and release notes. Now, this is everything that I've done, and I do that, not necessarily for you guys. Otherwise, I'd make it really, simple to read, because a lot of y'all don't care about the intricacies of what's happening behind the scenes. But I have a script that runs when I build, so that way, in the event of an issue down the road, if someone's having a problem with a certain feature, right, I will be able to track it down really quick to figure out where that problem lies. So, you get everything, even if you don't want it, but in the end, it makes it easier for me to support the product down the road, right? As you can see, there's just a ton of stuff in here. Even things that I've added, fixed, changed, refactored, right? So unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I don't want to make double the work for myself. This started out as a side project, and people started using it. So you're just going to have to bear with me. So if you don't like seeing this, then don't look at the release notes, unfortunately. But I'm not going to change that to make it easier for the people using the product, because then it's going to make it harder for me to support, or it's going to make double the work for me down the road to then summarize all this stuff. So I just kind of want to get that out there, because I had some questions on the release notes and why the release notes were so detailed. People only care about certain things. Well, that's all well and good. But, if you want me to fix things and add things, I need to make it as easy as I can for myself, since this is just a side project. So now that that's out of the way. You have all the downloads here. None of that has changed. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys a real quick demo of what it looks like as of today. So let's go ahead and fire it up. So let me turn on the amp one sec. Okay. Okay. So this is the main window. Not a lot's changed here. I've added the little icons at the bottom for the mouse, and I'll show you what that does in a second. Connect, that's all the same that everybody's used to. Tom added I think I've talked about this in my last video, but I'm not sure. So we had Tom created this search, right? So what happens is once you fire up QK4, if you don't have your K4 added, it's going to go ahead and find the K4s on your network and also your K40. Just for information, the K40 is listed. You can't really do anything with it, but you will see the K4D listed here in italics. You can select that, fill out the information, hit save. So that way it's basically a discovery, right? So it'll go out and discover your K4. So let's go ahead and connect to mine. Okay, so changes. First things you'll notice on the main page, you'll start seeing DX cluster spots populating. So that's new. You'll see the amplifier on the right-hand side. That's new. So this is a KPA 1500. This is over TCP/IP. You can change the mode, right? You can go change your antennas. You can mess with your tuner, and you can do a tune cycle, turn the ATU in and out, right? And then these are the meters that will move while you're transmitting. So that's a nice little addition there. Now for the mouse, how does this work? So the mouse, a normal left click, right, still scrolls or still goes directly to where you point, right? Moving the mouse wheel still moves the mouse wheel. Now for VFOA, now here's where it changes. A left click, or I'm sorry, did I say left click? A right click is gonna point and click for VFOB or your subreceiver. So I'm going to do a right click, and as you can see, it went directly to where my mouse clicked, but also your mouse icon changed down here. So that's letting you know that the current VFO that's active for your scroll wheel is VFOB. So if I move my scroll wheel now, it's going to move VFOB. Now, if I want to go back to VFOA, you would just click anywhere with your left click, and VFOA kind of comes back into play, right? So it's not fully finished, but the concept is that you'll be able to right or left click, and it'll change the icon for you and letting you know which VFO is active for the scroll wheel. So at the moment, I'm not finished, but what's happening is if I right click right now, I don't want to immediately change the VFO or the frequency for VFOB. I just want to change, the indicator so that I can use my mouse wheel. But since I'm not done, it's changing. It's basically going to right wherever I click. So in the future version, what's going to happen is, let's say that I want to slightly move VFOA, right? I would do a left click. This icon would change, and then I would move my mouse wheel, right? So just one more time. Right now, if I do that, it's gonna move the frequency to wherever my mouse is. So I can try to get it exactly, but see, it moved it ever so slightly. Now it's active. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see, what else did I change here? We have up here that we're still working on, but it's your round trip time to the radio, the jitter, the buffer, and then the packets. And this is a point in time, so this is not going to update if you leave your mouse hovered over it. So if you go back 2.5, and then if you stay away for a little while, go back 4.3. So that's just a neat little troubleshooting tool. So if you start seeing your jitter increase to a high number, or your RTT increase, exponentially, you'll know that it's not necessarily like an app problem, but more like a route or transit problem to your radio, through the ISP or wireless signal issues, something like that. So nice little tool. Okay, um, changes. So go into preferences. So on Mac, it's going to be preferences. On Windows, I think it's settings. Um, we we changed. We added the KPA 1500, right? So now you have the band, the firmware, the serial. We have the DX cluster. You can add a. I don't want to say as many as you want because someone's going to call me on that, but you can add a few. So right now I'm just doing reversebeacon.net. You would just fill in the DX cluster that you want, hit save, and then you can choose whether or not to connect on startup or not. And then here's your window down here showing the cluster right. If you want to adjust filters or things like that, if you have special filters saved that you want to adjust for a contest or whatever it is you're doing with it, you would type those commands in here, right? So, and then you would hit return, and it's going to send that command to the cluster. So yeah, that's that. We got your K-Pod. Mine's not connected. CW keyer. Not a whole lot has changed, but we still support the HeliKey and HeliKey MIDI. Rig control. Some adjustments were made there simply to make it a little more stable. The audio input mic gain adjustments were made there. I know some people had asked about the test. I removed that UI because it just wasn't working, and rather than leave something in there that's not working, I decided to pull it out until I can make it work the way it should. And really, behind the scenes, if anyone cares, the audio comes in real hot to the K4 server, so trying to find that balance to where my mic gain is a good sort of believable number here, and it's accurately reflected on your mic and on the K4 server. I was having some challenges with the Opus codec for that. So right now, 37%, 34, 30% should be a good round number, good number to start with. Before, I don't know if anybody noticed, but it was usually around 1 to 3%. Anything above 3% would seriously just, peg the ALC. So that's what I was talking about, the audio coming in a little hot. So I went ahead and removed the UI here, and I'll be adding that back at some point in time. I'm just not sure when. There's some other things that I need to fix. So menus, all these should be the same. Little things that I changed, really from a UI perspective, are going to be things like now everything's centered. Before the off or the center button here used to have a little offset. That wasn't quite right, so removed that. Your notch filter. I can do a manual notch filter. So notch filter, little dotted line here to show where the notch is, and then you have a straight line up here in the mini pan. So we got that. Let's go ahead and turn notch off, and then we'll turn mini pan off. As you can see, spots populating. If anybody has any issues with the spots, please report back. This is a really new feature that I'm still testing out. Things like timeouts. The spots should be rolling off after 5 minutes, or spots should be rolling off after the value that you've set in your DX cluster. So the lowest value I think is 5 minutes. So please report back on that. Escape key. Escape key stops the CW macros, right? So I implemented that. So if somebody's sending something, you can hit escape and it should stop the send. Sub diversity. All these still work. You get your mini pan. But yeah, that's kind of it for now. I just hadn't done a video in a little while. So as you can see right now, look at that, jitter went up to 25. This is a good example. And it turned it yellow, right? So what'll happen is eventually whatever's happening right now, I'm not sure if I'm over wireless or wired. I have 2 connections on this Mac. But after a minute, not a minute, but after some amount of time when the connection stabilizes, you'll notice that this turns back to green. As you can see, the jitter went back to 2.4 from 25, and it sort of stabilized. So streaming latency, those are now active, and they should work live. So if you if you're experiencing issues, you want to go to a higher latency number and hit save. and that'll help with some of the issues, like dropouts or crackling or popping noise like that. Yeah, so I think that's it. If anybody has any questions, just comment on the video below or open an issue on my GitHub. And like I said, those links for my GitHub, I'll place those at the bottom of the video. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Mike AI5QK.